When opening this manga for the first time, you are presented with a small writing from Horikoshi that says, "This is my third series to be collected into graphic novels. Forgive me if this sounds reckless, but the thing I prioritize the most when drawing manga is creating something that I can enjoy. This one might not remain popular, but for now, I'll just be happy if everyone finds it as fun as I do." Horikoshi, unsure if this would work out, making something he would like, hoping that we would all enjoy it as much as he does, understood his goal and the weight that comes with it, and still moved forward. In the first chapter of My Hero Academia, we find Izuku Midoriya navigating through a world in which he's at a demoralizing disadvantage. Midoriya lacks a quirk, a superpower, the very thing that lets you exist in society with normalcy. And we see as he comes to grips with the stark realization that people are not born with equal opportunity. People are not born equal. Midoriya, with a complete understanding of his disadvantages, still forms the daunting goal of becoming a hero. He forms the goal of going to UA, which at the mere mention inspires ridicule from his class and a barrage of insults from Bakugo. After leaving class, Midoriya is confronted with a shaking of his foundations, but holds firm with his convictions and steels himself to move forward. Seeing this, it is important to know that it is okay to feel discouraged. It is okay to be afraid. You will be shaken, your convictions tested, but do not break, for these are the natural obstacles presented on the path towards a goal. Don't let others stop what you want, what you seek. This is weight. This is weight that is added. That being said, something that we all need to come to terms with in one way or another is the fact that you might not be as fortunate as others or have innate skill like the next person, and I can go on. Dwelling on these thoughts can be demotivating and destructive and will only help to enfeeble you. Embarking on a path to achieve or setting off to a new goal already comes naturally with fear and anxiety. Then why would you focus on circumstances that you yourself could not have chosen, circumstances that you cannot control? What you can control is how you face things, how you carry this weight. A good example of this is when All Might is on the rooftop with Midoriya after saving him from the sludge villain. Midoriya expresses that he wants to be a hero, that he wants to be like All Might and save people with a fearless smile. He asks if he too can be a hero even without a quirk, but right then it is revealed that All Might is in a weakened state and can only do his hero duties, for about 3 hours a day. All Might contemplates Midoriya's remark about how he has a fearless smile, and he explains that putting on that smile is what staves off the pressure and fear. That line always catches my attention. It resonates with me. Even All Might, the number one, the greatest, still carries and deals with these feelings of uncertainty. This is a reminder that no matter how far you go, how skillful you become, or how high you climb, these feelings cannot be escaped, but can be dealt with. We all have to come to terms with these mental obstacles that chase us, but understand that this is part of the process. You choose how you carry the weight. That being said, more weight gets added to the shoulders of Midoriya. When All Might explains his reasons for smiling, he tells Midoriya that without power, without a quirk, he cannot be a hero and instead proposes he become a police officer. He says it's not wrong to dream, but to be realistic. To hear your idol, who also happens to be the best of all time, tell you that you won't make it has to be one of the most heart-wrenching, testing experiences one can suffer on the path to a desired goal. That sort of weight could make anyone buckle, and to some degree that happens to Midoriya. After being told to be realistic, Midoriya goes on to walk around with that hollow feeling after suffering a demoralizing defeat. It's that feeling where you spend time trying to convince yourself that it was never meant to be. You find yourself asking why you even tried in the first place. It's an interesting feeling, harmful for sure, but I guess it makes you feel better. It's like a way to cope. It's like telling yourself you never believed in the first place. With all these emotions stewing, Midoriya eventually stumbles upon an active crime scene, some commotion, and he makes his way over and sees someone getting attacked by the same sludge villain that was attacking him earlier. He sympathizes with the victim and thinks about how awful it is what he's going through. And right then, Bakugo's face appears from within the sludge, and that look of desperation ignites Midoriya into action. This part always makes me emotional. The setbacks, issues, doubts, they never leave. They actively contend with you. They swim in the back of your head or physically bar you. The moment will come where the weight will be so great that the only thing holding you together will be your genuine desire for what you seek. When you finally feel defeated, that very same desire will lash out in an autonomous act of defiance. The whispers will seductively try to find a comfortable home in your head. But you will step forward, even when it is felt there is nothing left to give. When we think of this idea, we think of physical bouts in which our protagonist must push past the physical limits of their body. But Midoriya is one of those protagonists who had to push past their mental limit. This is why I got invested in the story from the very beginning. Things obviously change very soon after, and yes, Midoriya later needs to surpass physical limits, but here, at the beginning, this captures my love for this story. Now, after this, we pretty much know how the rest of the story goes. Midoriya desperately claws at the sludge villain. All Might, seeing Midoriya's bravery, steps in, saves the day. Later, Midoriya is met with All Might, and the adventure truly begins. Going back a little bit, I would like to believe that Midoriya, even with all these setbacks and the weight he carries, he wouldn't have given up. I say this because when he comes upon the attack from the sludge villain, he's trying to convince himself not to get involved or to even walk away from the whole situation. But seeing Bakugo's eyes makes him spring into action. Not the fact that it's his friend, maybe that plays a role, but the look in his eyes is what ignited his genuine desire. But this scenario only came to be because of Midoriya's past acceptance to the weight. Now, I'm going to get a little personal. I'm a fragile man. I lay awake at night, anxious about how I'm going to keep afloat. When I start something new, the fear makes it hard for me to eat or function. People and their criticisms become discouraging. But the acceptance of all this, the acceptance of the weight, has made it bearable to carry. By no means has this made those feelings go away. Quite the opposite. And I've come to terms with the idea that they will never leave. And once you can accept that, it becomes a matter of making a conscious decision to walk forward. So I ask you, how much weight are you willing to carry? I just want to say thanks for listening. This video took me a little longer to put out than I wanted to, probably from lack of confidence, but I'm happy with it and I have notes ready for what I'm going to improve on the next video. Either way, if you want to just talk or anything, leave a comment, let's talk. And if you feel like I've earned your company, please join me on this journey. I'll talk to you later. And remember, never stop, never relent.